So look, South Africa, as I warned about several weeks ago, before the election, it has been now undermined by means of what can only be called a soft coup, an electoral sabotage. But I don't only mean by means of rigged elections, but by comprehensive subversion, manipulation, and infiltration of their domestic political landscape by the United States. The so-called Democratic Alliance, the DA, which has been supported by outsiders, by the West, by the National Endowment for Democracy, and so on, by Western private sector power, collaborating with private sector power in South Africa, has now been able to move its way into a ruling coalition with the ANC. Okay, the DA is anti-BRICS. It's pro-Zionist. They represent the colonizer class and colonizer interests. I think that what happened in South Africa is tremendously important and tremendously dangerous for the entire BRICS project, because it reveals the very clear intent, in my opinion, of the owners and controllers of global financialized capital to revive and to restore colonial control by any and every means available to them, and to subvert the economic sovereignty and political independence of the global South, if they can. Like I said, if they can find ways to do it, that's what they'll do. There's a new Cold War happening. It's a Cold War that's happening right now, and I think that we're seeing espionage and covert operations and political intrigues, the likes of which we haven't seen since the 1950s and 1960s. At this point, I don't feel confident, to be honest, about any so-called democratic elections in any countries in the global South, except that they will be tampered with. And in fact, not only in the global South, in places like Eastern Europe, in the Balkans, and so forth. Same thing. South America, obviously, this is also happening. This is especially going to be the case in any country that operates according to a parliamentary system, because they're very easy to manipulate and tamper with. I think that BRICS should draft a uniform policy that requires all member states, or at least encourages all member states, to ban the National Endowment for Democracy from funding any political party or any NGO in their countries. And you can add to that USAID as well, USAID. But I don't think it's wise or safe for any BRICS nation to allow domestic organizations or domestic political parties to be funded by the United States in any way whatsoever. They're only going to be used to manufacture opposition or to manipulate real existing opposition towards their own ends against the interests of that country. So that needs to be stopped, in my opinion. There are moves and counter-moves going on non-stop. The situation is fluid. While there's no doubt in my mind that the global South will rise, it's not at all clear who's going to be in control of the global South when all is said and done. The global South will rise, but who's going to be managing that, we don't know yet. The economy is shifting, there's no question. But those who have been controlling the global economy up until now want to maintain their control during and after the transition takes place, during and after the pivot. How that's all going to turn out is up in the air right now. And it's being determined, that outcome is being determined by decisions that are being made now. The most dangerous situation is in Africa, because of course Africa is absolutely the most important continent on the planet. The most important continent to the planet. And the next most important, and therefore the next most at-risk region, is the Middle East. The Middle East and Africa power the whole global economy. They power everything that makes so-called modern life possible. It's all made possible by the Middle East and Africa. And if the West was an actually civilized civilization, that would mean that peace and stability in the Middle East and in Africa should be of paramount importance. Good relations and harmonious dealings and so on, that would be the priority if they were civilized people. But of course the West is not civilized. And if you have something that they need, if you have something that they want, but especially if you have something that they need, then they do not see you as a friend. They don't see you as a friend that they want to be close to and have good relations with. They see you as an enemy that they want to subjugate. They see the world in a predator-prey paradigm, kill or be killed mentality. They're the original extremists, and they've never grown out of it.